Today's the day. I'm determined.
Pufferfish.
I love the word to keep the intrigue.
Of course. It was a short,
Adrenaline and everything.
maybe a couple of months ago, I was, I started writing down, something that I actually want to do.
And they are so adorable.
If you want to do something out of your bucket list and if you want to cross it out, all right, you need to make yourself believe it first. All right, I'm going to do that no matter what.
Chore. Like, so what do you want me to do? Deal with that?
My kitchen, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it looks so beautiful.
Aww.
They call it a farm, but it's with lycas,
I think it comes from the idiom kick the bucket.
which means
Today.
what things you can add to your life to make it more eventful.
You
Of
pass
course.
away in midair.
Hello, and welcome to the Big Apple School Podcast, the bi-weekly English show where we speak about everything under the sun. The major goal of the show is to help you with your listening skills and, of course, learn something new. My name's Katya, I'm your host, and today with me...
Alyona.
Ugur.
Natalie.
So, guys, what's up? What's new? How you doing?
It's almost summer here.
Oh
It's
my God,
warm.
exciting,
Yes.
right? The
Finally.
first leaves. I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for the first flowers to pop up.
I wear shorts. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. So Ugur, when he came in today, he said, oh, it's so hot.
Yeah.
And I've realized that you would never have said that if you were still living in Turkey or Vietnam.
No.
That would be like, oh,
Yes.
it's kind of cool today.
17 is not like in warm weather in Turkey.
Of
so
course.
Yeah,
it's
only like
winter.
20, 22, 23. So we can say
And for us
warm after,
Siberians,
like,
20. Have you seen
yeah,
that?
it is warm in here.
Summertime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with my students yesterday. And one of them is living in Krasnodar, and he was like, "Oh, it's like 21, and it's not very warm."
freezing.
Oh,
Yeah.
something like this. And I was like, "Oh, guys, come on,
Aww.
it's 17 here."
It's like me
It's
talking to my
summer.
students in Cyprus, you
Yeah.
know.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, it's really cool, cold, windy, like
What's
my
the weather
sweet
like?
summer child. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we actually have some big news today for our listeners. So this episode is actually the last episode of the season. So after this episode, we're going to go on a bit of a break to think about the new projects to provide to you, our listeners, so that your English journey is even more fun, more diverse, and so on. So until then, we need some sort of inspiration. And for inspiration, you need a break. So, but please use this time, while we're on a break to maybe listen to the previous episodes of the podcast. We have more than 150 of them on absolutely any topic you would like. Really, if you want to listen to something, it's on there. And ironically, on our last episode, which was supposed to be so perfect, we have this, the annoying neighbor who's drilling. So if you guys can hear something like the drilling noises,
It's not us.
it's not, it is what you think it is. Like, it's our neighbors. So, and we are very, very sorry for that. But, well, there's nothing we can do about this one. So, guys, and what is our topic for the last show of the season?
Yeah, the bucket list.
Bucket list.
Yay.
So
Bucket list.
What?
Bucket list.
Everybody has to say it.
But it kind of, some sort of,
Yeah.
not emotional, but like, effective.
Yeah.
All right.
So, but what is it?
I think it comes from the idiom kick the bucket.
Which means
Today.
to die.
Yeah. So the idea first is not really fun, but in general, yes. So actually, it's a to-do list, the list of achievements, experiences,
Vicious.
wishes,
Yeah.
desires, dreams, so that you want to fulfill
Mhm.
before you kick the bucket.
Before you, yeah. So what is usually put there? Like in general, what can be on the bucket list?
Something that you really want to do, something probably a little bit difficult to accomplish,
Yeah.
Let's get more
Or-
specific. Give me examples.
It's not like
Go
buying
skydiving
carrots,
or something like that. Yeah.
Come again?
Go skydiving, for example.
Skydiving.
Yeah.
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 There are some extreme examples, like I want to swim with dolphins, or just having
sharks.
a kiss with a llama in Peru, kind of thing. So then these are.
I don't see that as something extreme, you know, but with sharks, that would be, you know.
Exactly.
I guess I wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't want to just kiss with llama in Peru just for my Instagram story or whatever. So, hi guys, I can kiss with llama.
Probably
So
not.
It's nonsense.
It would be on my bucket list, you know, like without any sort of Instagram photo. Like, I think I'm going to die, like trying to pet an animal that I shouldn't be petting. Like,
Look,
like,
alligator. Let's pet it.
Oh, that's so mean.
looks nice. So,
Something like
God.
poisonous. Yeah, and you're like,
Oh, such a cute face.
Yes.
Oh, you want
right.
really, that's my life. Yeah. Like,
That's my life too.
how dangerous on a scale of 1 to 10? Like, you know, is it
12.
So what about, like, if we think about top 10 types of things that people usually put in their bucket list. So let's say something extreme, then we can have that as a separate category, like skydiving, you said. What else would fall into this category?
Some social things.
Travel.
Like,
Yeah, usually traveling, usually seeing some countries,
So
stuff like that.
if we're counting, so like extreme things, skydiving, jumping with a parachute, stuff like that.
bungee jumping.
Bungee jumping.
It's all the same. It's actually
Tra-
one category.
So
I'd say. Yeah.
that's why I falls into the. You said traveling, obviously. You said social. What do you mean by social?
Building a family, having children, and
But it's
buying
not like
a
a bucket
house.
list. I think it's
Why
like
not?
milestones of some
But-
kind. You know.
For some people,
But you can pick it from the bucket.
Yeah.
Let's form a family
I mean-
tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
I mean, I have one of these points in my bucket list, so
Like-
but I'm going to talk more about it in the after show
Yeah,
to
of
keep the
course.
intrigue.
Of course.
So so something like major milestones,
probably.
having a family and so on. What else?
Career advancement or whatever.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, skills like learn
Skills.
how to play the piano. For
You and
example.
100 courses on Coursera.
Yeah, we all remember that.
But no, that's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. Like learning something specific. I also
Yeah.
have that. Yeah, that's true. What else?
How to drill the walls.
Probably not on the bucket list.
Yeah.
But how to do a renovation, you know?
Yeah,
could be-
that's
But
kind
again,
of a
skills.
classic thing.
Skills,
that's
yeah, okay,
happening
that's
every
true.
Sunday.
This is something I would be hopeless at.
I've tried.
Yeah.
Not my
Ugh.
thing. You've done it. Yeah, you've done
last
it.
week my mom and I, so we put the wallpapers on in my kitchen. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it looks so beautiful.
Aww.
Adorable, really. But I have a long list
Wallpaper.
to do. Yeah.
Mhm.
Sort
So
of.
at the beginning, you also said experiences. I think we
Yeah.
can also put that as a separate category, like trying something.
Mhm.
So not necessarily extreme, but let's say trying certain foods. Let's say although I was going to say trying the fugu, but it is kind of,
Fugu.
well, you know, the fish that is kind
Puffer
of like
fish.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that
Puffer fish.
actually. Yeah.
fish.
Puffer fish.
Yeah.
I love the word.
Puffer.
Puffer fish, yeah. Poisonous,
Yeah,
but it's tasty.
Have you?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. That is good. That is good. You should.
So it should be put on the bucket list. You highly
You weren't
recommend it.
scared.
Which one?
Whoa.
And you weren't scared.
No. That was a safe, certified restaurant. So you need a certain certification to just
Obviously.
serve that food in a proper way.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why do people compile bucket lists? Like, what's the? What a shrug! Like, hell no. Or tell me when you find out.
That's why you were looking at me. I don't know. Maybe they want something.
Oh, okay.
A presence. in
Before
their
we
lives.
dive into this, do you guys actually have a bucket list?
Actually, that's
First
funny
things
because
first.
like maybe a couple of months ago, I was, I started writing down, something that I actually want to do. It was like, like to see the northern lights and to like, I don't know, go somewhere, like go blonde, something like that.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, one day I will. Probably. I don't know.
So what is the point on that?
It's just something
out of
new.
curiosity. Huh.
Yeah. Because again, I was just thinking like what I actually do, like want to do.
Mhm.
So, and
What about you guys, Alyona? Or do you have bucket lists?
I can't say that I really do, but there are some things that I really want to maybe experience or do. I kind of keep them in mind, but not on the list. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think I I tried to write some things down, to make some lists, even using the websites. And then I realized that this is pointless really for me, because I'm not the gadget person. I not the...
You have to have it written.
Either write it down or just keep it in mind. Yeah. So just two things. Yeah.
Actually, I don't have that list of things that I want to follow or whatever. So basic thing like and be happy. So whatever you want to do.
That's, sounds more difficult than some of the things on the bucket list.
All right, you can just put it on the top of the list and you can just feel the following. So,
I have a feeling that, let's say I personally love lists in everything. Like I have lists for everything. The list of books I have read, list of books I would like to read, list of TV shows I have watched, list of things I want to do, list of things I need to do. You name it. You think of a list, I have it. But I do not know. It gives me satisfaction to cross things out. But at the same time, to be honest, I have a feeling that having a bucket list kind of... Okay, so recently I was having a situation when I had no work. I mean, like I had a kind of a day off. I was also on a sick leave. So, and I thought what to do. And I realized if I'm not, let's say, reading or something, I'm like, do I have goals for this year? Or like, do I have something? So, and sometimes it's kind of nice to remind yourself, like, what can be your little goals? What things you can add to your life to make it more eventful, So, and I have a feeling this might be one of the reasons people create bucket lists, to have something to look forward to have something to
attach
to. Yeah. I've been telling my mom, like, have you thought about compiling bucket lists? But my mom is a representative of this Russian mentality where once you get retired and you have not much to do, you're basically preparing to die. And I'm like, Mom, she's like, oh, I'm too old to go abroad or something. I'm like, no.
Let's go.
My mom has just retired, and she's like, okay. I want to travel around our region. I want to go to Tomsk. I want to do
Yes.
And we like all the families scratching our heads and like, okay, so now we need to find some time to do
That's fantastic. This is goals.
Yeah, this is great. This is great. And
more
she's
people
like
should be like your mom. Really,
Yeah.
I wish more people were like your mom.
Right.
Because, coming back to bucket list, maybe that's why people like kind of compile.
Yeah, probably.
Your mom should have a bucket list. Does she have a bucket list?
I don't think so, but if
it might be a curious bucket list.
If we talk about traveling, I think she does.
Whoa.
Yeah, because she'd been talking to her friends, and she would, wouldn't stop talking about the things she can see in our region, and go into, I don't know, to ostrich farm, for instance. Or
Ostrich farm?
We actually have
Do
an
we have
ostrich.
ostrich farm?
Yeah, we do.
Where is that?
What?
Where is that?
It's like 35-40 kilometers away from the city. And
Yeah.
the
From
only
Novosibirsk.
Can we pet them?
What?
Yes.
Let's go.
I've wanted
Let's
to
go.
go there for like a year, but the thing is
Guys.
that you need to... Yeah, let's do it. Because the thing is that you need to...
Why not?
That was so sudden. Why didn't you tell me?
I don't know. It just never came up. But the thing is that you need a company of people because there is no public transport that goes there. So you need a taxi. And if you go like alone or with somebody, it's kind of pricey. So it's better to have like a company, like 3-4 people. And I've been telling my friends like, hey, let's go. And they're like, like it's not really interesting. Like, yes, it is. They have, and the thing is that they have ostriches. They have a camel. They have goats.
Okay.
Goats.
But
Still.
ostrich.
The ostrich,
you
they
know?
have ostriches, yeah.
Do they let that we can just sit on them?
No.
I don't think you can
Don't
sit
think.
on them, but you can like pet them. Same thing that is on my
Okay.
on my mini bucket list.
Mini
So
bucket list.
I have a bucket list for things. Well,
I didn't know
we
that.
can call it a bucket list for the region. We can call it. We also have like a special jar with my fiance of the date ideas. So and sometimes we just pick up the thing, and in there. There is an ostrich farm, but we haven't picked that up yet because they are like random. You do not know what's written. And there's one more, which is they call it a farm, but it's with Lycas. You know, the dog that are fluffy dogs. 24 lycos.
Why?
It's
Aw.
one of my former students has this farm, and you go
Adorable.
there, you pet them. Well, actually, you hug them. They are really people loving. So, and
It's okay
You
for the
swim
dogs.
and dive into
yeah,
them, right?
24 lycos.
Like
24.
Yeah.
In winter, you can also go like, what was it called? Dog sleigh? Like a
Yeah.
dog
Yeah,
sleigh.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah. And in the summer, it's nice area in the forest. So,
When
Nice to know.
When I used to do some events, we once hired the 2 sleighs of huskies to organize some the 8th of March event for women or something. That was one of the greatest experiences I've had because really, first they are really friendly dogs. Then you are riding so fast and It was
The
a short
adrenaline and everything.
Yeah,
The
that's
adrenaline.
amazing.
Of course,
and also it's
Ready.
dogs, so like dopamine, oxytocin, you name it, it's all there.
All the hormones.
Yeah,
possible.
I've got a couple of photos with those huskies.
I have a feeling that over the course of this conversation, especially when we talk about novice risk, Ura's going to have at least a mini bucket list of things to do over here.
I didn't know the ostriches. You guys just made my day.
So,
Yeah.
So some people also have a theory that people might compile bucket lists because they might have FOMO. So first of all, what is FOMO? Are you familiar with the
Fear of missing out.
And can you elaborate that on that a little bit?
It's like when, for example, imagine you always use Instagram and then suddenly decide not to, and you're kind of scared that something will happen without you being there, basically. So you will
Without you
miss
knowing
out
about that
on this
and stuff.
experience. Yeah.
Right.
So how do you think it may be related to the bucket lists?
Because people want to experience everything that other people have, basically.
Or all at once.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I won't have any time to just complete it all in a way. So
Yeah.
maybe
People,
they're just
they
rushing.
want to be worse or, I don't know, less intelligent or less than other people.
What is your opinion of like attitude to FOMO? Do you have FOMO ever? Any sort?
No, I don't think so. But
don't
I
know.
It
think
kills spontaneity.
oh yeah.
Why should? Yeah, I don't know. All right, no comment. Please keep it up. I'm sorry.
No. Like we're here to talk.
I have
What do you
other
mean
words that
keeping quiet?
I'm gonna say right, not now. Like an after show.
Ooh, intrigue.
Yeah.
Yay.
But so sometimes people say that, I have a bucket list, but what's the point? I never do anything from it anyway. So in your opinion, why may bucket lists not work?
It's too unrealistic. Like,
Time, money, and other.
Let's talk about everything more like in more detail. So starting with unrealistic.
I was speaking to a friend this morning, actually. I was discussing this, podcast episode. I was like, okay, we have an episode about the bucket lists. And I was like, so what is yours? And he was like, I want to go to space. I want to, fly a jet or something like that and go to the moon or something like that. And I was like, what the
And
hell?
I was like, ostrich farm 30 kilometers away from Nova Scotia.
Like ostriches, these are simple animals with long necks. So okay. All
But I
right,
was like,
going to
okay,
space. Why
can
not?
be more realistic. But
So
Yeah.
unrealistic. Yeah, definitely. The more unrealistic something on your bucket list is, the lower is the chance that you will do it. Okay, what else?
Time.
yeah.
Meaning,
All right, if you have a plan to just climb Mount Kilimanjaro next month, but you're all booked up or full of things that you have to deal with.
Yeah, definitely.
also, if you're planning to do that, it needs a certain time to get prepared.
Yeah, physically,
Like minimum 6 months for
financially,
all the fundamentals and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Plus lots of.
So sometimes, so ticking something off your bucket list might take years, actually. Like doing something, visiting this or that. Yeah. You mentioned money.
Of course, you need to finance your dreams. It's not a free world that you're living,
People who
right?
say money can't buy happiness. Please. Like money would help me with half of my bucket list.
Oh.
Sure.
I mean, travel, all of that requires a certain financial state. Any other reasons?
mindset.
Mhm.
Can you be
More
can you explain it?
specific. Okay, if you want to do something out of your bucket list, and if you want to cross it out, all right, you need to make yourself believe it first. All right, I'm gonna do that no matter what.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So you need to be self-determined.
Mhm.
Fair enough. Like put some effort into it.
And be more focused as well,
Mhm.
because if you have 100 of things on your bucket list, so what does it mean? So you're gonna do them right away, all of them?
Mhm.
Come on, no.
You know,
Of
actually,
course.
about the 100, you mentioned 100. I see that so often. Like, sit down and write 100 things you want to do in life. And at first, it's like, yeah, okay. When I was creating my own bucket list, what was easy was the first 30, maybe. And then I was like, huh.
And then just make it up. Like, it's not like you actually wanted something that you Google it. Okay, so what are the typical bucket list things?
You know what?
You cheat.
But what you've just mentioned, I think that might be one more reason why bucket
Exactly.
lists might not work. Because sometimes
It's not
So
what
generic,
you want.
right?
It's something that other people want.
exactly. So it
Yeah.
might not be your dream. So
Exactly.
I think
It's something like you want
To climb
something that your
Everest.
neighbor has, and you're like, okay, I need that, but really?
it's when I talk about bucket lists with like people around or my students, I hear very often people say, I want to jump with a parachute. And I'm like, oh, really?
You
And
really
then,
Don't you do
want
it
to.
then?
Yeah.
do
but
it.
then at the same time, like, oh, do you really? And given it enough time and thought, people realize that it's just so common, such common of an answer to say, I want to jump with a parachute, because that's what a lot of people do. But then if you start thinking about it, it's like, oh, is it really something I want? Or is it something I think I want because a lot of people around say they want
I
it?
kind of do, I do want
And
to jump with the parachute, but I've done paragliding. If you know what it is, it's like, there's like metal thing and it kind of lifts you up and then it's like, it goes down and you go down
From
as
back
well.
of the boat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, and it wasn't like as scary because it's kind of, it's slow mainly. But after that, my brother and his wife and his friend, so they went skydiving actually, and they kind of called me and they wanted me to go with them. But I was like, probably not now because I don't want to die from my heart attack or something like that. But maybe later when I'm like 80 or something like that.
80.
So you think the chances of you dying of a heart attack when you're 80 are much lower than, huh?
But I've already, I will have done a lot of things by then. So that I will not be like, it will not be such a pity, if I die. Not that I will realize it,
You
of
pass
course.
away in mid-air, and they
I
find
definitely
your
will.
body
But
that's gonna
and
make the
will,
papers though,
just slowly flowing down.
Okay. It's like a nice thing on a bucket
Yeah,
list.
look at the body is like floating.
Oh my goodness. But I can see that also quite common thing. People say, I want to do this, jump with a parachute, climb the mountain, or, go up the Everest. Like,
They actually want it.
Go for it.
yeah.
But again, because for example, if you actually climb the Mount Kilimanjaro, or Everest, whatever, it's like, it's kind of a proof that you're strong or you're like
that's
resilient.
your mountain, your challenge,
Something like
and I
that.
completed it.
And again, and you stand on the same, like
Height.
height that like than other people who actually have already done.
get it. My attitude to that is every single one of dead bodies on Mount Everest used to be a very motivated
Exactly.
person.
Bird seeing.
Sorry, we were a bit like macabre.
Yeah, he was determined
Duh.
some time ago, but now he's dead.
But he doesn't have any regrets,
Yeah, because we don't know, then we can't ask
You can't
him.
have any.
I think like this
Die
turn of a
trying,
conversation that we're having right now could be a nice thing to advertise for one of our previous podcasts,
Yeah.
which was related
Death.
and devoted to death.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because we had a podcast about
Go
death.
back and listen
I've
to
seen
that.
it, but I
guys.
haven't listened to
That
it.
was good.
So yeah. But how to actually do things in your bucket list so that it won't stay on the paper, So okay, we understand why bucket list might not work. So, but how to make them work?
You need to be determined, focused. You need to really want that thing. Yes,
You know, that's what people also say about losing weight. Does not really work that easy, you know.
It happens like all of a sudden.
Just wake up like, today's the day. I'm determined. I'm going to be committed to that.
Yes, but again, so it's about training some sort of I don't know, maybe preparation work.
It probably depends on the goal.
It depends on
if you want to go to Paris and see the Eiffel Tower, so you don't need a lot of preparation, only financially maybe.
Yeah, but again, a visa and holiday. Yeah, so still,
but you don't have to do like
some arrangements
actively anything. You just gotta send the documents.
Agree.
Yeah.
It still sounds like a pretty active thing. I mean, if we break it down into things, you say, send the documents. You need to get the financial, like the evidence of your financial state, all the things from work, fill out the application, send it all, pay the fee, go somewhere. Like, that's actually a lot of steps. And, you know, that might sometimes seem a bit overwhelming and intimidating. So, you know, that's true. Actually, we've just mentioned it. Well, I've just mentioned this. But breaking things down into doable steps might help. Remember I don't remember who were the guests. I remember it was the topic with Benjamin. Benjamin was the host. We talked about like goals and achieving goals and so on, and like how
soft skills, hard skills.
I think I was there.
So, and in there, one of the points was that breaking things down into doable steps can help. Because when we look at these big things, you know, like let's say, go travel, you think, it will require a lot of money, a lot of time. Oh my God, sometime later. But if you break it down into, let's say, find out like what to do in there, or let's say find out, let's say some tours. Write a list what I need, what documents I need. And then every single document would be a separate step. You look at it and like, actually getting a confirmation like in the evidence of my financial state from the bank is not going to be that difficult and I can tick it off. So why not? And then, you know.
Step by step.
The same with like traveling and stuff. If you think, oh my God, I need that many 100,000s, it's so intimidating. Like I don't have this money. But you break it down into, let's say, you know, like a couple of thousand at a time and you cross it out. You're like, well, can I save a couple of thousand? Yeah, obviously.
Why not?
But then it's just a couple, and there you go.
Maybe.
But I also admire people who can actually do that. Because it's one thing, you know, to say things about that, and the other thing is do that. I love how I look now at everyone. Everyone's like in deep thought. Like, that's true.
Yeah, I've broken my money box in the morning, you know. For some things, that I need just right here, right now, you know. So
it happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's about collecting money. It's about saving money. No, I'm not a big saver.
It's like, you know, you try to save money on something and then all of a sudden you need to have a doctor's appointment and there you go, it's gone.
I wish I was that after the money gone, right? So, yeah. But it happens. It's like...
So if we think about, let's say, your bucket list or your non-existent bucket lists, so is there anything that you would like to do next? I mean, something from your bucket list or something you dream of doing, let's say this year, next year.
Actually, yeah.
Pet the ostriches.
An ostrich. Aww.
That's easy for you, actually.
Why not? Yeah,
we should make that happen. We should make that happen.
Please. Yeah.
And now it's summer starting, you know, so good time to go pet some ostriches.
Actually,
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Please.
It's been a long time since I saw you that smiling, you know, like,
yeah, that would be nice.
Have you been to the local zoo?
No.
The Swan Lake. Oh, I really want to see that again.
At all?
Not in here at all. Not in here in Novosibirsk, but I know zoos.
I think I know what we should do. Like,
it's like every time we get together, we say that we need to like take.
Well, once somewhere. We actually went to the bar together, okay? So at least that
would be fine, right? I'm not,
you know,
that much into other animals, I guess.
But you know, in our local zoo a couple of months ago, they got well, not they got, but baby polar bears were born. And they are so adorable. They are like very playful.
Do they let us pet them?
Oh,
Polar bears.
You said baby.
A baby polar bear is still like this.
But their mom.
Okay.
Your mom's like, you dare do that. See what happens.
Why not? Let's take the risk. Yeah, let's go.
You're like, I'm willing to take the risk.
Yeah.
Will I die
Why
from a
not?
slap of a baby, of like mama bear?
Hey, fluffy little thing. So, why not?
Yeah.
So,
But
pet an ostrich.
Ostrich, yeah. Let's do that. That can be my
give me a second.
The next thing.
yeah. Bucket list. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah, also this morning. And I was going to go to Alta, with like a hiking tour.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How,
That's like
how long are we talking?
10 days.
Oh.
With tents.
You're gonna
with
walk 10 days straight, or
there will be horses.
now you're getting interesting. All right.
Yeah, there will be some kind of like minivans, like to carry all the tents, But some parts of the trek it will be impossible because there is basically no path. So yeah, we'll have to carry it probably. I'm not sure, and the difficulty is quite high actually. It is my first hiking trip.
Oh, so you've decided like your first hiking trip and
Just
what
after
about
my
horses?
birthday. Huh?
Is it horse riding plus hiking, or
It's all of
walking
it.
with
It's all of
horses?
it.
Can you
Basically.
ride a horse?
Yeah. You have to.
you have no choice. You're going to learn on there.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
It is, but I think it's gonna be difficult. Like I have to prepare physically. Like all the
Some days of hiking, yeah, it's gonna be difficult. My sister went on such a hiking.
wow.
Actually, they were covering. They also had like minivans, horses, and so on. And more often than not, they were covering like 12, 15K per day.
It's not so much.
Is there some part for rafting?
I don't know.
Well, it's not
actually.
so much
Might
when
be.
you're walking like, along the streets in Novosibirsk, but not when you go up.
But imagine all the beauty, all the mountains. I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
When are you going? When are you
After
planning?
my birthday in August. It's not like that I bought it already, but I've learned a little bit about this. Yeah, and I think I will go.
So
Probably,
cool.
yeah.
Have you been to these places before?
I've been to Altai like 4 times, but it was, either some kind of meditation courses or something like that, like some kind of retreats in a way. Why smiling?
No, I'm just listening.
Okay. So and I don't know. I think it's going to be completely different from like
It's going to be new places for you, I
Yeah,
guess.
definitely. It's going to be like in the deep of Altai. Yeah.
So cool.
So, yeah.
That is fantastic. So does that
I
mean
hope
that
I can do it? Yeah.
that
because-
during the summer you'll be like physically preparing?
I mean, I always am. So I always go to a gym and stuff like that. So, but I'm not sure. Yeah, because
that's my goal, to be that committed.
I'm
as
not
you
committed.
are.
It's just a habit, basically, like from my childhood. So
This is such a cool thing.
I think so. Yeah, I hope so. But again, I'm kind of scared. It's going to be difficult.
I mean, it is going to be difficult no matter what. But
yeah, but maybe I will just fall somewhere there in the mountains.
no,
and
I
will
mean,
stay.
still, because my sister, when she went on such hiking tours, they had people, and they had kids actually, like
wow.
teenagers. But the thing is that when you go as a group, there's always like a guide at the beginning of the line and at the end. So if anything happens, you get extra tired. Some people go ahead. So
just
there's always
carry you.
so there's always room for I would say
Help.
help dealing with problems, improvisation maybe. So and sometimes, let's say when my sister was extra tired after walking like almost 20K and so on, so she stayed at the lake the following day when other people went to like another place. So yeah, so the thing is that it's all
Hopefully. Yeah.
doable, but she did say that it was very challenging at times, but still she absolutely loved it.
Can imagine.
So, and the beauty.
Yeah.
Oh, so great.
I hope I can go. Yeah. So I hope. Yeah.
Altai's beautiful place.
Yeah, it is.
The redecoration works. So this is the only thing I have in my mind nowadays. It's just takes all your time and money consuming thing. Right?
Are you doing it yourself?
Yeah.
We've discussed
So
it actually.
the things that I can do, really, it's like, I don't know, putting up some wallpapers, stuff.
And you're
Why-
doing like a
why-
full renovation thing.
No, half of my flat. So just, but still, some of things my probably family can help me with. Some of things I would probably hire some people, like the bathroom, for instance. All those tiles to
Pipes
pipes are fine. The tiles, you need to knock them off.
You can
first.
do it by yourself, It's like
I know, but I don't want to. This is so
but
time
it's such
consuming.
pleasure, probably,
Really?
I guess.
You could invite Natalie, Still like, I can help you to destroy things.
I think I get too upset about things not going the way I want. And so I'm like, no, let it somebody do. Because,
I know.
Is renovation kind of a favorite pastime in Russia?
Favorite pastime? Used to be, I'd say.
Because, every Sunday, my upper floor neighbor starts around 9:30 a.m. in the morning and it ends up like on 6.
Well, see, it's a long project, It's not just something you can be done within a day or 2 or 3. So it requires time and effort, especially if people are working. Imagine from Monday to Friday, you have job, you still have to deal with the dinner and so on, and you're tired. So at the weekend, and if people only do that at the weekend, it's going to take some time.
A couple of months before, my neighbors changed, so neighbors next door. And then we have a big family living there, in 3-room flat, something like this. So they started redecoration works, and it was all fine, unless they started doing it at night time.
Oh, that's illegal, is it?
That's what I was
Of course. So first, the neighbors downstairs knocked on the radiators. So it was the first night. Then the second, and I could hear a couple of men speaking there, and I was like, being home alone, I was like, okay, so it's 1 a.m. So if I'm knock at their door, so what could
what is next?
So the next night it was like 10 in the evening, something like this, and so at 10 I knocked at their door and I was like, guys, I'm sorry, but you are violating the all the laws. That quiet law,
stop?
Right? So yes, actually. So they were like, okay. So we just didn't think about that. It was,
seriously, how can you not think about that?
Because they're not local people, so they moved here from other country, I guess. So that's why probably they didn't pay attention to
They
that.
didn't know about the law.
And
communication is key.
And I think they didn't know that the sound is so loud in other flats. It spreads really loud. They were doing something like we're putting on the wallpapers, but all that scratching sound and stuff.
Scratching.
And it was just...
The hammering sound is kind of intimidating. Early morning, like 9:30 on Sunday morning.
Although 9:30 is okay.
Really?
On weekdays, you can start all the noise at 8 a.m. On the weekend at 9 a.m.
Okay.
And finish all the repairing works must be finished
Sunday.
at 8 in the evening. So that I learned. So
Until 6, I think.
Unfortunately.
That's all right. I didn't have any chance to just go and complain because I don't know Russian, so most probably I would be beaten. So
But we had a podcast before with Ben and Ken, and probably with you. We talked about with you.
It was me,
right? So we talked about the news and stuff, I think. And once Ken told his story about knocking at his neighbors, so with just
Google Translate,
right.
No, my favorite story is when Ben called the person who's responsible for the house or something,
The lady.
The lady,
I remember that.
It's just like Icho. So what do you want me to do? Deal with that?
I guess she's still alive. I know that lady. I guess. I know that lady.
Whoa.
I guess she's transferred from his apartment to my apartment right now. I saw her.
Maybe all the same,
She's so strict. Anyways. Okay. Sorry.
So, all right. While talking, I've been thinking about what would be mine, but I don't want to play it, I'm not going to tell you. But I just have a plan to move to another country, but I tell no one where because I don't want to jinx it. So sorry.
fair enough.
So, because
Yeah.
too many things can go wrong. So I'm like, you know what? If I do, I do. You'll find out. If I don't,
You will find that too.
you'll find out, you know.
Yeah.
So you'll be the one
Nice
to
to see you
know.
here again.
It's like, didn't you have a plan? Nope.
Nope. All right. It's a
Want
lot.
you go into? Nope.
Nope.
You have no proof. So,
It's like moving for good.
well, I mean, for some time, for a year or two, I do not know. I no longer make plans. 2020 taught us not to make plans.
Exactly.
It was
Just
way
one more
before
question.
2020. 2020, yeah.
all of
It was
this
like
year.
So it started with the
19, 18.
pandemic.
Yeah, and then
And
other
then
stuff.
not the pandemic, you know. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more question: is it a warm country?
I mean, everything that is to the east from to the west from Siberia is kind of warm country, isn't it?
Everywhere is warm, but
It's like, I mean, Moscow is much
okay.
warmer than
Okay.
Novosibirsk.
Okay. Other.
It is warmer than Novosibirsk. Let's put it this way.
Okay. Okay. So then,
everywhere is warmer
congratulations.
than Novosibirsk.
Well, still,
I mean,
yeah.
I have students
Except
from
for
Moscow.
Yakutia, you know.
Uh-huh.
That place I'm not coming back to. No offense, but 16 years were enough.
Oh.
Every time I talk to my mom talks to my family and she's like, oh, but you know, it's like +1 and they're like -20. It's still -20. And my mom every time says, I'm so happy I have moved here to Siberia. There are not many places where from where you move to Siberia and consider it a step up in terms of weather.
Exactly.
It's just one of those. Beautiful place, really interesting weather, so many cool things.
It snowed last week, you know, in
Yes.
in the middle of
On
May,
Monday,
or
I think,
Monday, I
actually.
guess,
Yeah.
at the beginning of May, and I was suicidal. Yeah. That-
Trust me, we all were.
yeah, I feel you guys. Yeah, that's
I was having my Spanish lesson and my tutor's like, so what is, the typical small talk? She's like, what's the weather like in Novosibirsk? And I looked outside
You don't
and
want to
said,
know it.
it's snowing. She's like, oh, you mean it's raining? I'm like, I know the word snow, you know.
It's a little bit different than it's raining, right?
And the
It's
thing is that
watery.
she's from Kazan, so a city not so far from Moscow. She's like, do you want to know what the weather's like in here? I'm like, since you're asking +20, she's like +29. I'm like, oh,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, one more question. Can
You
you
have a
see
life.
the northern lights in Yakutia?
Yeah.
Oh,
you can. But the thing
maybe
is
I will
that
move back. You know.
the thing is that in Yakutia you need to go way to the north. So that's why if you want to see the northern lights, and I know you want to see the northern light, a better and much safer place, I mean, with a higher chance is Murmansk.
Murmansk,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
My
So-
sister went there.
My family
saw
lives there, so
The
and,
northern lights, yeah.
Well,
I pretty much often see the Instagrams and some. We can also call them aurora lights.
Yeah,
Aurora
Aurora
lights.
Borealis.
Exactly.
Yes,
Aurora
yes.
borealis, yeah.
So they can I don't know, show you some pictures. Of course, the camera doesn't show
course,
the whole
yeah.
beauty
Yeah, yeah.
of those things. But
Early January,
really,
Murmansk.
Mhm.
There are
Murmansk,
tours, there's everything. So yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it's a very high chance of actually seeing them. Yeah.
right?
I'm sorry, but speaking of northern lights, have you seen the news about Moscow? Because 2 weeks ago, actually, in Moscow region, they had the northern lights all of a sudden, like out of nowhere. People were shocked. And it was seen in the areas where they have like no sight pollution. So like not in Moscow, but in Moscow region. So, and my student who lives in Moscow, she's like, have you heard? I'm like, no, what? And she showed me like the news and the photos. I'm like, what? Just all of
Adorable.
a sudden, nobody expected that. It didn't last like too long, but was enough for people to make pictures and
witness.
actually have a core memory, you know?
Imagine it happened like 100 years ago. Everybody would be speaking, like witches.
All right.
Maybe like not 100 years
Okay,
ago.
2, 3, 4.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So, and my last question for today before we get to the after show would be, what was the last thing you have completed from your bucket list or like things you wanted to do? We should have a sound
this
effect of crickets chirping, you know, like
It's a tricky one.
There was something.
I guess moving away from Turkey and start to live abroad 10 years ago. I guess
Ooh.
that was my last
and that
thing.
was a big thing.
It was a big step. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
That is cool.
And it's been
That is
10
cool.
years so already. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
Time flies. That's
Time
crazy.
Fine,
Mhm.
yeah.
I think for
That's
me,
crazy.
probably it was this workation thing because again, I've been thinking about this for a long time. I was actually doing it in Scotland and I was like
Mhm.
kind of living in Moscow for a little bit. So, but this time it was actually, traveling and kind of working at the same time. It was fun. Like I've done
you went
twice this
to-
year. So it was Turkey first, then it was Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan.
So,
yeah, that's
yeah.
true.
So
That's exciting.
it's kind of fun. Not the bucket list thing, but still kind of interesting.
I have no idea. I'd given a thought about it in the morning, and couldn't imagine anything. I mean, just because I don't usually build those bucket lists,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
that's why.
Well, it could be something
probably-
you had wanted to do for a long time and finally had the guts, the time, the money to do.
Maybe some traveling, yeah.
Okay.
Some sorts of traveling. So when I visited the cities in our country, probably.
Mhm.
So that was
Okay.
it. Yeah.
All
Mhm.
right.
What
That's-
about you?
You know, I think it's getting a half a sleeve tattoo because I had the idea for many, many years because I thought like, okay, I want to commemorate Terry Pratchett's works, like have something. And I have a little tattoo over here, like, devoted to his works, but I'm like, no, I want something else. But I spent years thinking, I don't know what it should look like. I have no idea how to make it work until my tattoo artist who did my previous tattoo said, I was telling her, hey, would you be interested in doing this project? And she's like, oh, absolutely, and there we go. So it took us more than a year to do that. And I think this is one of the last things on my bucket list that I actually had completed.
Yeah.
Another tattoo would be nice. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been thinking for a while.
I remember actually I had that thing on my bucket list, like having a tattoo, like the first one.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh my God.
Oh, I had a piercing actually, like I wanted to pierce all my ear, but I understood it's not my thing.
Mhm.
So in the end, I don't have it anymore. So
And
having,
actually,
having blue hair or something like that, it's also kind of a bucket list thing, in a way.
when you said at the beginning of the podcast that one of your bucket list thing is going blonde, what I couldn't stop thinking about is how many hours it's going to take.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
I have very thick hair, long hair.
Yeah.
And even with my hair, like, which is up to my shoulders, it took 2 days.
And you're also pretty fair. Yeah, I would say.
People
Yeah.
have hair.
So,
Yeah, but it's going to be fun.
one more. Yeah. Okay. Bucket list. Well, we're going to talk a bit more about our experiences and we're going to come up maybe with some ideas and discuss our bucket
Why
lists
not?
in the after show. So, guys, stay tuned for the after show and we'll see you around.
Yay. See ya.
See you.